Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Tuesday, so it's a world building and cartography day. We're going to be doing a little world building discussion, focusing on some stuff from the first edition AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. We're looking at some setting options from there. What we got here? Lexfire sent me a little PM asking if I got through the storms okay, and I did indeed. It's pretty nasty. We had, 100-mile-per-hour winds, I think some said. Trying to do a little different lighting here. We'll see how that works out. I want to, you can see where the edge of this is. You can see I've got some books on this table here. You can see I'm too small for the, can we do that? If we do it this way, right? But then I get too big for, I can't make the, this big enough. Well, with me behind it, I guess it really doesn't matter. Okay, well, let's leave it like that. Anyway, yeah, storms, nasty. 100-mile-per-hour plus. Torrential rain. It all came in after 3 o'clock. We had tornado warnings. Let me put this down just a little bit. Sorry for the crumpling. Tornado warnings until a little bit after 4 o'clock. So we had that going for us. That was lots of fun. I'm in a wood frame building here. You know, you move up to the north end of the Midwest, you don't expect a lot of tornado activity up this way. But, our climate is changing, friends. Storms are becoming more frequent and a lot more violent. That is the second time this year, third, that my power's been knocked out by a storm. I've been living here 7 years, and it happened twice before in the 6 years I lived here, and this year already 3 different times, which is not good. Internet was out for a while. Came back on, went off again, came back on. This is the power. Internet, out until very late in the evening. Came back on for about 10 minutes and then was out. I was doing other things, so eventually, without it coming back, I just went to bed. I'd had a quick 10 minutes just to connect with a few people, let them know I was alive. I know there were some concerns about what might have happened. Were there any touchdowns? I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet about other places, so in the surrounding area. I'll pick up on that stuff later today, probably, when I have a little time to do a little looking around. But obviously without any real internet, except for a brief period last night until this morning, I've been catching up on a lot of things, including getting ready for this show. So here we are. World building, huh? First edition. Good old first edition AD&D. See that yellow, huh? Do I got too much yellow in my green screen? I actually look pretty good. The background is a little ghosty. You can kind of see it, right? But at least color-wise, I don't look bad. Usually I'm much more washed out I've got this light. I've got a fluorescent up above, kind of behind me and over top of the green screen. I've got this light, which I'm keeping on low, which filters in some color. Right? That seems to work. I've got better than yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Ink Dweller. How you doing today? Neutral Good Books. Right. Yeah, I saw you. Thanks for the follow. I saw you were on the follow there recently, which is good. And thanks for chiming in during the chat. For those who might not know, which is probably not many folk, if you chime in during the chat stream, and that way we know you're not a robot, and you are a follower of the show, we'll put you on a little list, and every week we give away a little something. The last 10 weeks it has been badges for Virtual Gamehole Con, which is coming up in November 5th through 8th. I don't think event registration has started for that yet, but you can submit events. So getting connected there is a good thing. Anyway, morning. Mike here. Hey, buddy. Pleasure. Are you a Mike I already know, or are you a Mike that's come to us by way of Twitch, and I haven't met you outside of there? I think most of about 50-50. Half of the people that I know that are regulars on the Twitch channel are folks I've met elsewhere. A few in person, a few more at GaryCon, a few more at the game store, a few just through Facebook, but known for a while. And then we've got some newer folk that I'm just meeting that are casting about on Twitch and looking for, something to entertain them. Let's face it, the regular television and film industry is at a bit of a deficit, bit of a wasteland these days. So what you gonna do? By way of Ink Dweller. Nice. Thanks. Thanks so much to both of you. And I don't know. I'm not very entertaining, but better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, I suppose. Which does 1d6, but because it's just a stick, I think I'd give you -1 to hit, because it's what was later called an improvised weapon. I don't know. What do you think? Anywho, let's do something serious here. Let's take a look at this. What I want to do is bring this up over here. What I also want to do is take the time to do the ease of access thingy, cursor pointer, make that a little, not too much bigger, that's crazy big. Change its color, right? How's it look over here? It's green when it's off of the thing. When it's on the thing, it's black, and then down here it's a hand because it's able to grab. There we go. Nice. That's all visible on the vid, on the stream, so that's good. So here's the thing. I was thinking about this yesterday and today when I wasn't cowering for my life in a doorwell in a wood frame building during 100-mile-per-hour winds. I was thinking about climate. And one of the first things, after we get through all of combat and experience and everything, they get into the DMG is the campaign. Now, when they talk about the campaign in first edition in the Dungeon Master Guide, it's all together. You're looking at setting, and they'll mention, if you don't want to use a pre-made setting, when there weren't many, if any, back then. But I think they were talking in terms of if you don't want to set your world up as the Lord of the Rings world or Tarzan's Jungles or Robert E. Howard's, World of Conan or World of Cull or Bran Mac Morn or some other setting that already exists. If you don't want to grab up one of those, embrace it, do whatever you have to do to make it a D&D setting, then, and even Greyhawk wasn't really a thing. There were adventure modules, right? But there was no complete setting you could just pick up and purchase at that point. Judges Guild was starting to do some stuff, because this was 79 by now, right? When the DMG came out. But there was not a lot of stuff out there. Anyway, if you're going to do this, if you're going to build a campaign, my point being, when they say the campaign, they're talking about setting, they're talking about the campaign, which is what I suggest is when the players interface with the setting. That becomes your campaign. Adventures are discrete units of that campaign, and world building, setting, is what is there, whether the PCs are there or not. So all of the pre-stuff that you prep, stuff you make up on the fly during a game that you then incorporate into that setting, that's all world building. Campaign is the interaction between the PCs and the world, and adventures are a discrete unit of any campaign. And as per my stipulation always, I'm a sandboxer, so when you're looking at sandboxes, you've always got to think of, hey, Alexfire. When you look at sandboxes, you've always got to think in terms of the story being a byproduct of gameplay. So when you're looking at adventures, retroactively is the only way you can look at them, because we don't know when they really end. When they're actually playing them, they could be walking out the door of a dungeon and you're thinking, okay, we consider this an adventure, and now they're moving on to some, and they could just turn right and go right back in. And that could be part of that same adventure. Or maybe it's a separate adventure in the same location. But any which way, you don't know until after it's done. So stuff can only be divvied up that as far as sessions and the campaign as a whole with a particular group. And maybe even generational, right? So if you have any sort of institutional knowledge, one player that has played in a previous campaign who's playing the same character particularly, or has convinced you to allow him to play a similar type of character, and you've decided to advance your timeline 50 years, and this is a human fighter, and he wants to be the grandson of the human cleric that he played in your last campaign, and it's all good by you. Is that still the same campaign? Well, in many ways it is, right? So that's kind of talk for tomorrow, though, right? We do campaigns on Wednesday. What I did want to warn you about was when this is the campaign and the DMG, we're talking a lot about pre-prepared setting stuff here, and until the players interface with it, it's not really campaign stuff. But let's take a look further in. One of the problems with this larger, the campaign, this larger cursor is it's hard to get an exact connection on these things. What do we got here? I want to do a little bit. Let's go over here. We'll get the last little bit of this page on 86, where it starts the campaign. Do we want to do... There we go, 225, that'll fit nicely. Is that legible? Good. Let's read it. Unlike most games, AD&D is an ongoing collection of episode adventures, each of which constitutes a session of play. You, as a dungeon master, are about to embark on a new career, that of universe maker. This is world building, right? You will order the universe and direct the activities in each game, becoming one of the elite group of campaign referees referred to as DMs in the vernacular of AD&D. What lies ahead will require the use of all your skill. Put a strain on your imagination, bring your creativity to the fore, test your patience, and exhaust your free time. Being a DM is no matter to be taken lightly. Exclamation point. Gary was very emphatic about the fact that he expected if you were going to take on the job of DMing, then you should take it seriously. None of this fluffing around. You're not just a player taking a turn behind the screen and allowing other people to roll the dice and be characters for a little while. At some point, if you're going to be a serious DM, if you're really going to referee and you're going to build a campaign world, understand there's a lot that comes with it. A lot of work. Your campaign requires the above from you and participation by your players. To belabor an old saw, Rome wasn't built in a day. You are probably just learning. So, take small steps at first. The milieu for initial adventures should be kept to a size commensurate with the needs of the campaign participants. Your available time as compared with the demands of the player. This will typically result in your giving them a brief background, placing them in a settlement, and stating that they should prepare themselves to find and explore the dungeon ruin they know is nearby. As background, you inform them that they are from some nearby place, where they are apprentices learning their respective professions, that they met by chance in an inn or a tavern and resolved to journey together to seek their fortunes in a dangerous new environment, and that, beyond the knowledge common to the area, speech, alignment, races, and the like, they know nothing of the world. Placing these new participants in a small settlement means that you need do only minimal work describing the place and its inhabitants. Likewise, as player characters are inexperienced, a single dungeon or ruins map will suffice to begin play. So, you're building a world from an upside-down pyramid, right? We're starting small. We'll expand it out as people decide to explore it, as they decide to get more involved in the sociology, the politics, the environment of the world that you've created thus far. Some of what they do will cue you to build in certain directions or with certain aspects in mind. If nobody's getting into politics and they're just getting into gambling, maybe the next thing you build is a casino in town. Who cares if there's, who runs the town or, how it's decided who runs the town or any of that. They have no interest in that. There's no sense spending too much time on it. Maybe you just want a nice little overview. There's a mayor. He's picked by a chicken. Everybody who wants to be mayor sits in this pit, in this small arena in town. They throw a chicken in, and the first one the chicken takes a dump on, boom, you're the mayor. Maybe nobody wants to be mayor in this town. Maybe anybody who's committed a crime in the previous year, whatever the crime, as long as it isn't something stupid like murder, anybody who's committed a crime that doesn't require jail time, something that's only gets you fined. You left the gate open on the public stable, and we lost horses, and we spent a whole day tracking them down, and we all lost a day's work. That's going to cost you 3 gold pieces, whatever. You caused a traffic accident last time you came to market, and somebody's cart got dumped. We're going to have to fine you. You got to pay them for everything that got destroyed, but also there was cleanup involved, and people had to clean that up so the market could go unhindered because the town makes money off that market. So we'd have to fine you 2 gold pieces, so on and so forth. So you get 10 people that have all been fined throughout the course of that year. All of them have to go sit in the pit. Then you throw the chicken in, you wait, you see who your crap's on, and boom, that's the next mayor. That's your job. Now you have to assess everybody with fines. So this is how it works, right? You decide on simple things like that. Nice little world building exercise there, right? Because nothing has to work the way it works everywhere else. You can have absurd little side things like that mean nothing to anybody except you until they get uncovered, and then suddenly it's just a little humorous interlude. And maybe one of your players has a character that wants to be mayor, so all they have to do is knock over the watering trough in front of the sheriff's office accidentally, and get himself fined, and his name goes in the hat to be mayor next year. It's all good. It's good to get busy, right? It's good to have a gig. Anyway, I got my gaming hoopla shirt on today. One of them. I got another one. It's the same thing, but it's green. I accidentally wore it one day before, and fortunately I started early, so I was able to check out how the green screen was working, and I realized I was a disembodied head. That was fun for about 2 seconds until I had to scramble because it was getting close to 9:30. Not that I haven't ever started late, but nevertheless. Anyway, after a few episodes of play, you and your campaign participants will be ready for expansion of the milieu. The territory around the settlement, likely the home city or town of the adventurers, other nearby habitations, wilderness area, and whatever else you determine is right for the area, should be sketched mapped, and places likely to become settings for play actually done in detail. At this time, it is probable that you will have to have a large-scale map of the whole continent or subcontinent involved. What happened to start small? Where are we? What did the... In short, no, I skipped a sentence. Some rough outlines of the political divisions of the place, notes on predominant terrain features, indications of the distribution of creature types, and some plans as to what conflicts are likely to occur. In short, you will have to create the social and ecological parameters of a good part of a make-believe world. The more painstakingly this is done, the more real this creation will become. Eventually, as player characters develop and grow powerful, they will explore and adventure over all of the area of the continent. When such activity begins, you must then broaden your general map to still farther, so as to encompass the whole globe. More still, you must begin to consider seriously the makeup of your entire universe: space, planets, their satellites, parallel worlds, the dimensions, and planes. What is there? Why? Can participants in the campaign get there? How? Will they? Never fear. By the time your campaign has grown to such a state of sophistication, you will be ready to handle the new demands. There you go. Gary has confidence in us, so we're probably all good. I can't imagine he'd throw us into the deep end and not be able to get us going. Setting things in motion. You know what? That is more campaign talk. That is where the rubber meets the road, where the PCs meet the setting. Quite a bit of that. Climate and ecology. All right, pallies, I tell you what. I think we're just about done for the day, so we're going to make it a call right here. We'll get back to climate and ecology We'll discuss what advice is being given in here and review if it needs more information, if it's good advice, if it is advice that should come with some stipulations. In general, we'll go over all of that beginning next time because we're out of time for today. Any questions at all from anybody in the stream chat today? Whew. Had some pizza yesterday. Feeling pretty good. When the power went out, when we got the tornado warnings, and after that kind of passed and the rains subsided to a light drizzle, I didn't have any power. I didn't have any internet, obviously, either, and decided, you know what? I could sit around here for hours and do nothing. I don't even have light to read by. It was so dark out because it was still raining and such. So I hopped in the car and got out of here for a little while. And I went and got some pizza and hung out with a couple of buddies, socially distancing at the local hangout, and then stayed out for quite a while. Outdoors, well, enclosed porch, but open screen porch situation, so it's limited contact. Got to be careful still. And had some pizza and a couple of beers, and then I don't know, came back around 9:30. The power had come back on after a few hours, but then the internet was still out. I was home about an hour. Thank you, Ninja Good Books. Thank you, LexFire22, Ink Dweller 8. Finally, it was, I don't know, sometime around 11. I think the internet popped back on, but it was on for like 10 minutes. Then it was back off. I got some things done. I went to bed. I got up this morning. It was running. I checked everything. I made sure everything was good to go for today so we could do the thing at the place right here on the OK Grognard Show. I do want to also say, by the way, there, we're going to put that down. We'll go over here. Thank you to everybody follows the channel and for chiming in on the stream chat. Like I say, if you do that, we'll add you into a list. Once then we know you're not a robot, we'll throw you in and do a giveaway every week. It's free. There's no purchase necessary. It's not a contest. It's just the thing we do to gift somebody. I think just about everybody at this point, 16, 17, 18 weeks? Just about everybody who's a regular here has gotten something at some point, whether it's a set of dice or some old school Renaissance patches or a badge for Virtual Gamehole Con, which is what we're doing. The schedule tomorrow, campaign discussion, check that out. That'll be fun. Game running tips on Thursday. We got building adventures on Friday, DM reviews on Saturday, rules retrospective on Sunday. The weekly news and announcements comes around on Monday, and we'll be back for cartography and world building next Tuesday. We'll pick it up where we left off there. Again, I want to thank you if you follow the channel. If you don't, please do. If you catch up with this on YouTube, please do subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Maybe make a comment if you have some constructive criticism for us, because it's always welcome. It's how we get better. We're just about at the point now where the green screen's getting a little better, so we'll see if we can improve that even more with some different lighting. And I think that's about it for today. So join us again tomorrow or later in the week at 9:30 a.m. We're here every day, and we appreciate it when you get a chance to join us. So please do. And beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye bye.